I want to say a few words about protecting TikTok's future while also protecting America's national security at the same time. It's clear that more time is needed to find an American buyer and not disrupt the lives and livelihoods of millions of Americans, of so many influencers who have built up a good network of followers. That's why last night, Senate Democrats tried to pass a bill that will extend the deadline to give everyone more time to come up with a workable solution. But Senate Republicans blocked our bill, which is stunning because time is running short. We will continue to work to find a responsible solution to keeping TikTok going, protect American livelihoods, and protect against Chinese Communist Party surveillance. We must and can do all three. I have made my views clear to the current administration, and I will work with the Trump administration and with both parties to keep TikTok alive while protecting our national security.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is...
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
It's the perfect answer. This is Tyler Yonke, LPR. I'm gonna tell you a few things here. First, like the button. Click that. Go ahead and subscribe. What else do we got here? Oh yeah, if for some reason I just totally bow out on my system, I've had an issue. Let's go. Welcome everybody. This is Tyler Yonke. So here's my Rodecaster Pro. In the last few weeks with Tower Gang, while I'm producing, it's just disconnected from my computer completely. So time for a new computer. I think that's one thing. But other than that, so if that happens today, I'm just gonna play the outro and we're gonna go bye-bye, and then we'll talk to everybody later. Okay, so wait, TikTok good or bad? Right, so that's Chuck Schumer on the open there, and we'll talk a little bit about that and discuss is it good or bad, and because a ruling came out today. So Will says very disrespectful. Well, that's because I think you guys said no. N-O, I think, and then JC came in here. Okay, so welcome everybody. Like me on this show. I try to stream out to YouTube, Rumble, and X, but Rumble for some reason it's not working with the restream. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Why that's, well, I think I know why. So I just don't have the option to do that. I'll try to figure it out, but I think it's part of just Rumble, the way that their fucking system is. So welcome everybody. I hope we're all doing well. And what do you like, Tyler? What are we going to talk about today? I have a few topics on hand. We are going to go over. First, I thought we'd just cover Nick Rekieta. He's got a new tattoo. Trump and Ross Ulbricht, PDB scam. I'm going to do that one first and foremost today. However, I think first and foremost, so there's a lot of first and foremost. Let's see here. I think we got to play this. This is maybe one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen, which is Nick Rekieta got a tattoo, and it is weird. But then, you know, there's a lot of people that are like that are somewhat weird, right? And I guess he definitely is. So go to that one. Let's see. Why is this not doing this? You know, I get it all set up. And ready to go. And then for some reason it's not doing it. YouTube. Let's see if we can gosh dang it. Something happened here. Something happened, and I thought I had it just. Okay, well, there we go. Okay, so Nick's on some show. I don't even know what it is, but let's just play it here a little bit. He's talking about tattoos. I don't really care much about anything, but he shows his tattoo. Okay, and it's. I mean, this is the physiognomy of someone who I don't know. This is really odd. This is go.
But they found it in the reel, so I got it.
They're watching you.
I know what this looks like. This looks like someone with top surgery that's had top surgery during their transition. I mean, that shirt, he should not be wearing that. Not that color. Those tattoos are horrible. And you're like, oh, Tyler, well, fuck you. I get to say what I get to say.
They're watching you.
It's just really low. It's down here.
And then down to his belly, he's got like some sort of, and he's going to describe it here, but this is, if I saw a girl wearing this and she was, I wouldn't go out with her.
So yeah, I got a blue bonnet because I was born in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And then Lady Ragged's is from Arkansas. So these are apple blossoms. They're the two state flowers. So I got that done as well.
Pull your shirt down tighter. Pull your shirt down tighter over your belly button. Maybe your crotch. There you go. Make it nice and snug.
Fucking hurting. Holy shit. Tattoos on the hip really, really fucking hurt.
Okay, and really, really stupid. But I thought we'd at least give you an update as to where we are on that. That's crazy. So I think he's going to make a plea deal. We'll probably come up with some of that. Flabby arms yet. He's talking. He's not fit. Let's just be honest with you. Let's jump into our. We can do the full chat here. Did you see CNN lost a defamation case and settled with the dude during the punitive damages phase? I think that's the one you're talking about in Georgia. The only thing I watched where their attorney just got shattered the other day about something. So I'm not sure exactly what it is. Maybe that's the one it is. Hello, why are you not on fire? Okay. Who says I'm not? I think Nick's going Tiger King. Oh, totally. Pseudonarcist in here, catching up. The shirt is awful. Flabby arms that he goes on about being fit. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. So all that's a little, it was in Florida. Okay. I did not, maybe I'll check it out. Typical addict. I got my own tattoo when I was going through early recovery. Yeah. I mean, tattoos, get them for what you want, but feel free to get mocked for it. Okay. Cause this is me with your looks. Okay. Our looks are what they are. You can't always just, dictate how you look. That's genetics. You can do improvements to yourself by being fit, haircuts, whatnot. I mean, Tyler needs to do some work. I get it. Mock me for there, but for the most part, we're stuck with where we are. I'm not mocking Nick necessarily. Not what I'm mocking is his that he's presenting himself, and then when you get tattoos, I'm sorry, those are your choices. I get to mock you mercifully with you getting tattoos if I want. And you can say, oh, Tyler, you're horrible for having skin. Fine. But he's choosing these kind of things. So, as an example, you come over to someone's house and their decor, you're a guest, whatever. But if they're going to show off their house, like you don't like what I have back here, please feel free. You can do that kind of stuff because these are choices I'm making, style choices, haircuts. Right? The other dude, maybe they just thought they needed to match shirts coming in today. I don't know. The Zachary Young lawsuit. Okay, I think that maybe that's one I checked out. All right. So anyway, that's Nick. There are a few things with the Nick case. I think Kayla, there was a ruling a while ago that they knocked her down. I think April's got dismissed. I did have a bunch of their stuff here, and we could possibly go over that. Hers got dismissed. April's. Kayla's still involved. Nick, I think, is going to plea. I thought I saw him talking about that. So, that will be somewhat interesting. But yeah, there you go on that one. Okay, let's get into PDB. This is one I've been wanting to do. And by the way, I plan to do a whole show during the week, and then I've just been busy. I mean, I'm at work. It's busy. I've got a new office space. I'm much closer to before we had a big office. And so there was offices between us that no one was in. This is why we moved. And so I would, do my stuff there. I didn't have to hear my law partner or anything. Now we're closer together, and then there's windows on the door. I'm just not doing shows. And I was like, I wanted to just come in, do shows, my office, to be easy. There's some other hang-ups I got there. And then I'm like, okay, I come home. Do I want to do it at night? Well, I've been trying to go to the gym more. I've been trying to do other things. And then, it's just not working out there. So I wanted to do, but for the most part, when I'm in the office, I'm working. It's like, billing, making money, got a lot of, stress going on. Cause you got to, there's deadlines that you have and stuff. So, there's a lot of issues you got there on there. So it doesn't always work out. But I think I will Monday. It's MLK. It's a court holiday. I'm going to go into the office, but I may stream the inauguration, right? So I don't know if other people do it. Maybe we'll bring some people on. We'll just kind of have it going on as I'm working, and we'll just stream the inauguration. Maybe we can do that. That might be somewhat interesting. This is the last, he already said, JC, he already said hi to you. Scroll up. This is the last full weekday of Biden's presidency. Okay. So, we got a weekend and then half day on Monday. He gets to put in a half day on Monday for this. Okay. H-1B came down, and Vivek writes this thing. I didn't even talk much about it. There are some problems with H-1B visas where I don't believe it's just getting the best of the best. So there's a little bit of some misunderstanding. I think corporations get tax benefits for hiring H-1B visa people. So it's the incentive for them to hire them over Americans. These are, foreigners that have a legal reason to be in the United States for work. That's what the H-1B is. Now, Vivek goes on here and he kind of rips American and stuff and jocks and whatnot. And there's some issue, and I get where he's coming at. He wants great American exceptionalism type of thing. But there's also some bullshit in what he says there, which is he is of the mindset of a violin chess playing child who didn't have fun. Okay. There is something to be said, and yes, fine, you're going to be out there, you're going to be, molding the world, but that's not for everybody. And sometimes those kind of people are the ones I deal with for divorce because they don't know how to be happy. Maybe they're abusive. There is something to be said about enjoying your high school years, your college years. I'm not saying play around. I mean, I have 4 kids, all smart. One of them really killed it in high school. The other ones did fine, but they all of them had fun. And to me, that was an important aspect. I wasn't one of these parents that are just like on them all the time. It's like, you're getting your homework done, you're getting good grades, and you're playing a lot of sports and you're having fun, you're dating. That's important too, to learn those kind of things. Yeah, that's great. There's a well-roundedness that you need to have in your life. And I get this sense, I mean, there just comes a tinge of this with Vivek's comment here, and we'll play it here with Patrick Bet-David, that there's maybe a little bit of, I didn't have this in my life, and my kids don't have this, therefore you shouldn't have this either. Because there is something to be said about being a jock. Okay, there is something to be said about playing sports, more than just playing the violin in your room as your mom, whips you mercilessly. There's more to it than that. You're saying here, let's smile, be happy, says, Vivek slapping the couch potato parents while their kids underachieve. Well, kind of, but I think he puts in too much of this. And went to a private Christian school. Well, so did my kids. Well, 2 of them. So anyway, let's play this here to talk about it.
Demand tough answers, and we're really serious about fixing a problem. We have to confront the truth. American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s, and likely longer. That doesn't...
See, there's a part of this that's true, which is, you don't have grades anymore, and you're touchy-feely stuff. But when my kids are in high school, or they're no longer... You may not be that, as I said, that chess playing person, but the football team still gets a lot of notoriety. And to be good, especially in, when kids go to these, you've got to be putting in a lot of work. So what is it that means something to you, right? And just doing these kind of things, maybe it's different for everybody. And I get, Vivek, when he's talking about Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell, first of all, Zach and Slater over Screech. Zach, did Zach and Slater not get good grades? I don't know. I mean, Slater, I thought they were all getting good grades in school. Screech was a complete dork. But he wasn't the one that you thought of as he's a dork and he's also killing it in life, right? Matter of fact, he came out of there and killed him, or he died. I don't know if he killed himself. But Zach and Slater, top wrestler, the jock football or whatever they're also doing. But I never got the impression that they were the dumb kids at the school either. Okay. Boy Meets World, never really watched it. Maybe that's Corey, maybe Family Matters. Stefan over Steve. Okay. Give me a fucker. This is, I don't know why I'm getting involved in this part. This is not at all what I wanted to talk about. So let's keep going here.
So starting college, it starts young. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympia champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not.
There are many, you can't, the prom queen over the math Olympiad. Okay. Vivek just ran for being the prom queen of the United States and he lost. Okay. That's literally the job he tried to do. He wanted to be, which is the prom queen. I'm sorry. It's not the CEO of the United States. It's a popularity contest. We all know that. This is the dumbest thing. How many prom queens, especially now? I mean, to be a smart kid and to be good at school and to get into the big, my daughter was a cheerleader. She was also, but it was also cool to be smart kid. It's different than maybe way back when. I'm older than this motherfucker too. This is so stupid. And you guys may like that, but
produce the best engineers. That upset.
By the way, Zach was the smartest. By the way, Mark Paul Gosselaar also raced bikes, okay, in real life. So he got up to a category 3, so he wasn't all the worst. Okay, let's keep going here.
A lot of people, but he's not wrong is the question. Is he wrong
he's
with that statement?
Not wrong.
Okay, let's continue. Culture that venerates Corey from Boy Meets World or Zach and Slater over Screech and Saved by the Bell or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents.
Okay, engineers. All right, fine. Maybe. I personally, professional cyclist, I played as many sports as you can imagine. I was good. Okay, I was really good, especially at volleyball. I played good at basketball. My dad was a baseball coach. I was also a fucking engineer. Okay, so I did engineering and I did just fine. I even got into a grad school with it. So did I go? Yes. And then I became a lawyer. So I'm not the dumbest piece of shit out there, but just because you like sports doesn't mean that you're not good. This is where I'm getting. This is the edgy stuff here, right? I just don't think Vivek's all the best.
In the 90s, who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity. And their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash. He continues to go, and then most normal Americans' parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents.
Hubbleson says, "Did you do blood doping?" Hubbleson, had you ever heard about me? No. Which means no, I didn't. I wasn't. I was good. I was in the wrong era. Honestly, I've thought about that many times. That the era I was going in. There, I don't want to get into it. I could get into all that cycling stuff, but no, I did not. I did not cheat.
View
unfortunately
those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grew up aspiring to normalcy is what you will achieve. Now close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut in the hyper-competitive market. He continues to go, Rob, if you can go right there. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement over normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work culture we have cut out for us rather than wallowing in a victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence. Look at the amount of views this tweet gets.
Wow. I get that, but you're never going to get nerdiness venerated, okay? That nerd is only going to be accepted in a sense when that nerd has some social skills, and by definition that usually doesn't happen, or they change their looks, they grow up, they get a little better, the nerd turns good, right? What's the movie with I'll think about it here in a little bit, but she's at the school, and then, by the way, when they do movies like this, they're always hot. They just try to make them look nerdy, and suddenly like they take the glasses off, and then they have this dress, and they're like bomb diddlyicious, and it's like, okay, that girl wouldn't have been the nerd in the first place.
115 million views a tweet. Now go to my response, which upset a lot of people. If you can go back, so I said the following. I said, as an immigrant from Iran, I saw this as an edge. I didn't mind working 80 hours a week. I didn't mind the competition.
I have a question about the 80 hours a week. I know people say that, but I'm like, I don't know.
All I wanted was a shot.
I want
this
the
used to be the American way. Time to return to it. Take a minute to read it. By the way, when I say working 80 hours a week, I worked 80 hours a week. When in my 20s and 30s, I worked 80 hours a week, and I had no problem doing it. I'm on the road 6 months out of the year. When you're on the road 6 months out of the year building a national insurance agency, it's very tough. And by the way, you're building an insurance company regulated in 50 states high volume recruiting. We go from 66 agents to 60,000 insurance agents, dealing with every department of insurance that's led and typically ran by somebody who is a liberal. Think about they don't like people like us, is what we have to deal with. But then this prompted people to get upset and say a bunch of different things. If you go back up, Rob, up top, I said something about, on another tweet, I said something about, what's your biggest arm? No, go back above that right there. The one right above it. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, Rob. Keep going a little bit higher. I think this is the one. This lady says, kindly go a little lower. Working 80 hours a week is not a healthy role model. No problem. Quite frankly, you choose your role models for you and your kids, which is your job as a parent. Whoever you edify, it is what it is. And I said, respectfully, both the app and the phone you're using were built by a founder and executive team that worked 80 hours a week for many years. Also,
I don't know that he knows that.
Founding fathers work very hard. And I put 80 hours a week, and the community note says we don't know if they work 80 hours a week or not.
Right.
You just have to realize they work a lot more than 80 hours a week. These guys are trying to survive, is what they're trying to do. By the way, so then while we're doing this, me and the research team go a little bit deeper into this. And these are some of the numbers that comes up, okay, when you think about what America goes through. If I was to ask you, right, and I asked you guys these questions yesterday.
Okay, so he gets into that. I want to get to the part where he gets community noted and he talks about that, because then they do some research. Let's see if we can find that.
Visas. Do you know who's ahead and by a mile? It's Amazon. It's not even close. Do you know where Tesla was ranked on hiring the most H-1B visa folks?
Where was it ranked?
21st or 22nd place.
Okay.
So you're not talking about a top 10.
Okay, and then he talks about the number of people who and by the way, I Pinger Trip, I guess that's the guy. He does Ping Trip, I think is his name. He does these mashup videos of Rogan. He kind of did. I saw him playing some stuff, so I stole his videos or these ones, and so I'm just kind of now watching. Okay, they hired the most, or they employed the most H-1B visas, but by percentage of what? I mean, if you're a company of 5 million and you have I'm just making up numbers, 3,000 H-1B visas, that's a small percentage as compared to if you only have 20,000 and you have 2,500 visas. So what percentage is really a number I would be more interested in here.
Brandon Kelly, if you guys can send that ranking to Rob for him to have it. You got to see this, because it's interesting as you go deeper and everybody is criticizing everybody and you go through deeper, you're like, it's not. But Amazon, majority of the people they're hiring.
Okay, let's see if we can
I did an interview with one, and the guy in the interview on the phone call, because this is back in Skype, it was like a Skype interview. He tells me, well, I can only come through this guy because, this is it. And I said, wait a minute. I thought he was a U.S. recruiter.
So funny.
But that tells you what, a part of this, there's a nationalist. And there's white.
Okay, I'm not finding the video I wanted, or the part I wanted to hear him talk about his part, but he gets community. Patrick McDavid got community noted for his business, and it basically said he's a scammer. So he wants to then, talk about this, and maybe I do have it here, because then everybody jumps on and they all defend him, and it's all great and dandy, and he's got this great business, and that's why. Okay, maybe this is it here. Is this it? Sorry.
Where they're white nationalist. Okay, you view me as go back himself as a business guru on YouTube. He is essentially a scam artist. By the way, the community notes allowed that for a couple hours.
Right.
Then it was taken down. Okay, that's the whole community notes concept. Wikipedia and community notes are somewhat similar. I know I actually like community notes, to be honest with you. The only thing you have to be careful with community notes is that now went everywhere. Hey, this is what it is. At the end of the day, you know how hard it is to build a national insurance agency dealing with regulators in every state. Tom was the president of the insurance company. He's the CSO of it till today. You're dealing with every single agency. We pay taxes in God knows how many states. To grow a company like that, and then for somebody to cut a check for $250 million after they do quality of earnings, which, Tom, can you tell everybody what a quality of earning is?
What a quality of earnings report. So everyone knows how to sell a house. In the middle of
So, but what I want to say is, because there's a community note that went up that said, hey, he runs a scam company. So let's hear if, Enron, there's multiple companies that can, get past regulations. Does that mean you're not scamming people with your company? Okay. Let's hear the reasoning that they have to push back against that.
Selling a house, you need an inspection. If you're buying a house, your bank requires the inspection to ensure that the house is in good shape, and they're going to give you a mortgage for it, right? Very simple.
Yep.
An inspection times 1,000 is a quality of earnings report that gets done on your business. So they say, hey, we like to do an inspection, and part of that inspection is going to be quality of earnings. What do? They're looking for fraud. They're looking for offshore bank accounts. They're looking for transactions.
They literally go through your bank account and watch every single expense, anything you ever bought purchase, personal, everything.
Everything.
Wire
It's like a
transfers.
forensics. It's like a
Wire
forensics.
transfers
But you have to do it. You're about to cut $250 million check.
So think of it as you're selling a company, and the inspection,
No one's
the house
cutting a
inspection
check,
to sell that company
Patrick.
is called the Quality of Earnings Report, and it only gets done by people like PwC and Accenture, big companies. You sell a company for more than $50 million, it is a big inspector. It takes months to do. It costs at least $250,000 in my experience. That's what it costs. And guess who pays that? You. If you're selling your company, you have to pay that before it closes. So guess what? If the deal falls through, the economy crashes, they can't get their loans.
It's an audit.
Guess what? You have to pay it anyway.
But here's the point. So if a person's never gone through building a business or selling it, I don't blame you for not knowing.
How could you not know what a quality of
how
earnings
can
is
you
and
not
how
know? Like,
hard
for
it is?
example, I don't know what it was to, mother's labor, all this stuff. Then I saw my wife have 4 kids back to back to back to back, all without, what do you call it, Pitocin, without epidural. I'm like, oh my God.
Okay, so as you can tell, he's not going to really answer the question about him being a scam. So let's get into CoffeeZilla. He does a breakdown of Patrick Bet-David's actual business reality versus marketing versus reality. And let's play this. I do want to do 1.5 just so we get it here. Maybe let's take a look quickly at the chat before we go on too much. No talk about the Indian caste system destruction being imported as a result. Thank you, Death. Hubblesome. Sam Hyde came out of nowhere with a video perfectly breaking this down. Yes, he did. And I don't really want to get into the H-1B. I'm more about the H-1B situation came about. And with that, people pointed the finger at Patrick Bet-David and building an MLM, as JC says here. And with that in mind, is Patrick Bet-David, is he someone that I've been on the bandwagon here many times? We talked about this with Dave. We talked about it with other things. I think what he does with the podcast thing is more realistic for him but you've got to understand, I think he puts out a persona, right? And this persona is, I'm a businessman. I'm a businessman. I'm from Iran. I came in here and I killed it. I worked 80 hours a week. Look at me. Look at me. I'm like this. Therefore, I already have credibility. It's like buying listeners in a way, right? And people like Dave and Robbie more so, which I don't even understand. Maybe it's the Jew in him that got all excited about the money-making stuff. Sorry. But there was a weird reaction from Robbie when I had posed that to Dave and Rob, freaking out, telling me to go fuck myself. Maybe this is why I'm taking this so personal. And with that in mind, I think they get drawn into the luxury lifestyle, right? And it's like, oh, your neighbor, this person, look at them. They have all this great, but you don't know all the behind the scenes. Anyway, here's how he made his money, right? And let's talk about that, the MLM.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
One company dares to dream bigger and do the impossible. One company pushes the limits of the status quo.
Wow. We got it all, guys. We got people smoking cigars, fat cats, dude. This is a lot like the Amway thing. It's like a younger Amway. It's nice. It's
By the way, if you watch this video, I'm 5 minutes into a 13-minute video. The first part of it is all about Amway, which, multi-level marketing. We're going to talk about that, but he's going to break this down. Let's keep going.
It's fresh, it's exciting. So what is the reality of PHP? According to the disclosure they have to file. Let's check it out because they say they have the top compensation plan.
With the top compensation package in the marketplace for entrepreneurial agency builders, PHP is ushering a new era of multicultural and diverse agents.
Wow. So you heard them. World class. This is the best we're going to get today in terms of compensation plans. So it better be good. So we got to go through a little bit of this. The first thing you have to notice, this is a measure of the average of the life licensed agents in the periods of January through December 31st, 2019. So I wanted to make sure to get 2019's income disclosure because I know COVID shook things up. I didn't want to, get that in the mix. So this is that, and it's for agents that got their license because I know you have to get licensed with these kinds of businesses. So I wanted to make sure we measured the licensed agents, and they said this is licensed agents. Well, let's check out the numbers. $800,000 of income. That's pretty good. Well, how many people get that? 0.13%. Okay, so it drops pretty steeply off from that. Okay, 300,000, not bad. 0.14%. Now, going on from that, you basically have 1% of people making a really good income, it seems like. Because 0.75% make $148,000. That's a great living. You're going to do very well with that. Well, now we drop into the middle class, right? 1% of the people do that. It's still great. Still good compensation. Here's where it really falls off. Down here, I don't know if you can see that, 64% of paid agents, these are agents getting paid, made $200. The vast majority
a year
of people who made money with PHP barely paid off their enrollment fee of $200 that year. You didn't even hardly broke even on an enrollment fee, over half. Now, 20% of them made $2,000 in a single year. Terrible income. Let's just be honest. That's like a side hustle at best. 7,000, same thing. 6% of people made that, meaning that about 90% of PHP's employees also make less than, take a guess. Everyone got their guess ready? McDonald's employees. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the number one compensation plan in MLM, the thing that's changing everything, that's changing a world full of debt. McDonald's starting salary makes more than 90% of those people. This isn't to dump on those people, by the way. This MLM as a rule, it just doesn't work. Guys, I always tell you, MLMs are scams built to enrich the very people at the very top and basically no one else. And to make money, you have to recruit people underneath you. Now, the thing is, these people will tell you, well, of course, Stephen, people not many people succeed. It's just like owning a business where most people don't succeed, except there's a problem with that. You don't have to go out and base your success on getting new suckers in the program. This is the problem with MLMs. MLMs involve the majority of their work is, hey, you got to go recruit. So in order for you to succeed, this is what makes MLMs completely unique. You have to make other people go lose. Do you get that? Because to succeed, you have to recruit. And to recruit, you have to knowingly bring people into a system where 90% of the people make less than a McDonald's salary. Where it's probably slightly more than that, right? Yeah, actually it is, because actually it's 95% of people, because these 4.8% make only $15,000 a year. I think a minimum wage at McDonald's makes a little bit over that. How do they get away with this stuff, man? It's mind-blowing to me. Now we're gonna look at another MLM called V.
Okay, so that was, to me, somewhat fascinating and shocking almost, right? Which is 95, these are the people that, and by the way, so now we're going to go to, because he being CoffeeZilla, actually interviewed Patrick Bet-David. And it's a 3-hour, thing there, and him and his guy, and I'll bring it up here. So we're not going to necessarily watch all of it. Oh, hey, what happened with that one? But I'm going to play some of this because he starts to bring these numbers to Patrick Bet-David. By the way, this is 13 minutes in, and he started off by asking him, hey, tell us about, this company a little bit. And he goes into this backstory, doesn't answer the questions. It's a fascinating watch. And honestly, I couldn't get past, more than 45 minutes because it was just so much obfuscation. But anyway, good for him for going on the show. This is after he did the breakdown. Then he's going to bring this up. And he does actually play let's see if it's part of this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Back this up. There we go.
I want to do a 1.25. I don't want to waste everybody's time. I'm going to the Moose Lodge tonight.
Yeah. The 60% fee is $200 a year, and you have 60% of your workforce making $200 a year. They're making nothing. And then the pitch, because I've seen the pitch, I was watching the pitch last night, is that it's easy to make this money. It's easy to quit your job.
Which pitch did you hear?
Your
pitch. Did you hear my pitch?
Yeah, your sexiest compensation plan pitch. I watched it from the Valuetainment website.
Yeah. We don't have it on the Valuetainment website.
It's one of the education, portals.
But I'm glad you did. But here's the part. So let me explain the income disclosure. So let's start there first. Number one, do you think if this was an area that we were embarrassed that we would publicly disclose it? No, we wouldn't do it. And we did this. I don't know. We don't have to.
But if this were my company, I would be embarrassed of this. So maybe I don't understand.
But can I explain to you why?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
that's an interesting. Remember going back here, he's like telling the old fucker on his show, hey. We have to go through all this regulation. And he's like, yeah, we did, and not only that, but we put it out in this, the reality is, okay, it's fine, but it is embarrassing.
Part about insurance is the following. Here's the point I was kind of trying to make to you earlier. When I went to Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, I'm a full-timer. Yeah. I have to expect to bring a block of business in or else I'm fired, okay? In real estate, almost every single real estate agent starts part-time because the average real estate agent doesn't even sell one home per year.
Hang on a second. JC, my video is glitchy? Are you saying my video audio is glitchy? Okay. It's actually, I think it's just this recording and they have some music going on. I think it's someone ripped it off of theirs and put it on their own. So audio got out of sync a bit. Okay, fuckers, just deal with it. It's going to happen. Okay, let's get...
Their first year, they don't even sell a home. Matter of fact, today in America, if you look at the statistics.
Hang on. There you go. So let's... maybe we'll go to quality. It's let's just knock that down to 480.
Statistics. We have 1,439 something realtors licensed in America today. We only have 1 million homes on the market today. The average realtor doesn't even sell a home per year. The average realtor sells half a home per year, a quarter of a home per year. So the numbers are the numbers no matter what industry you look at. But let me go to our income disclosure. Number one, we don't charge $200 per year. Our competitors do.
Very important, right? Let's clear this shit up. This 65% of people who are not making the enrollment fee back, and that's an average, is 200. So there's people making zero, probably losing it all. He's like, let's clear this shit up.
You know, $199 and it's like $34.95 a month, or you know, $75.95 when you get to a certain place, you pay more monthly premium, or $124.95. We don't. It's $199 you get started, and a part of that's training and licensing. You don't pay again. So to address your concern,
you pay $99 a year, though, right? You pay $99 a year.
4 years ago, or 3 years ago, I could get the exact dates for you. 3 years ago, it was $14.95 per month. We stopped it, and we started doing $199. And then if you're a marketing director for the software, I don't know what the amount is, and if you're a associate, I think it's 99. So the non-marketing director number would be 99 a year, and then a marketing director would be like 199 a year. But that's if you're a marketing director, it's a different position. That's not the majority.
But it feels like we are quibbling about the fact that you have advertising, and this goes to where I think it's deceptive advertising. You have pitches going out to people.
All right. JC said, "What's tonight's goal?" Let's do a. How about one super chat? Okay. What will I do? I'll read your name live on air. Okay. I put a goal in there. I mean, I'm not really all about the goals. I know some people are, but you know, we'll just put this here. Start the goal. There you go. One super chat. That's all we're looking for. That's all we're looking for, JC.
People who want to get involved with PHP that say it is easy to make this money. And by your
it's
numbers,
absolutely not easy to make money. I've never said it's easy.
Well, in the marketing videos.
Well, no,
wait.
Let me show you exactly where you said it's easy to make this money.
If you're around me long enough, you would know I talk about that this is a challenging industry to be a part of. You would not hear me talk about it's easy to make millions.
Hold on. Not easy to make millions. I'm talking about easy to make more than $200, which we know is above average, like more than the average.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you a different question here. Let me flip it on you. How many subscribers?
Hold on, real quick, before you say that, one sec. I just want to play you, just so you know, I'm not pulling this from nowhere, right?
Allows you to do that. So for some of you guys that are watching this and you're extremely competitive, this is your way to get to the top of the compensation plan within PHP. So that right there, with everything I covered with you, is 23 different ways we get paid. So as you're watching this, you can ask yourself, you can either build a small part-time business, making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, part-time, totally fine. Many people do it.
So, okay, you're saying part-time is $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. Then you say this.
Second, you can say, you know what? I make 60 grand on my job. I can easily make $100,000 a year with this, and I can do it on my own time as a business owner.
Do you understand how you're implying when you say easily make $100,000 a month with this business? You're implying.
No, I'm not saying. I didn't say you can. I said if you think you can easily make six figures, you can do this business. Listen, let me give you a different part. Please work with me here for me to try to explain this.
I'm here to listen.
You have to.
Let's back this up just so we can see what exactly was said there. So that's
pulling this from nowhere, right?
Allows you to do that. So for some of you guys that are watching this and you're extremely competitive, this is your way to get to the top of the compensation plan within PHP. So that right there, with everything I covered with you, is 23 different ways we get paid. So as you're watching this, you can ask yourself, you can either build a small part-time business, making $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, part-time, totally fine. Many people do it.
So, okay, you're saying
part-time, many people can
part-time is $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month. Then you say this.
Second, you can say, you know what? I make 60 grand on my job. I can easily make $100,000 a year with this, and I can do it on my own time as a business owner.
Do you understand how you're implying when you say easily make $100,000 a month with this business? You're implying.
No, I'm not saying. I didn't say you can. I said if you think you can easily make six figures, you can do this business.
maybe.
Listen,
maybe
let me give you a different
problem.
part. Please work with me here for me to try to explain this.
I'm here to listen.
You have to know if I'm here to talk to you. I'm proud of the business I do. This isn't something where I'm. If I'm afraid of representing the company, I would never be here. I'd let this thing be irrelevant and I would move on. But you know that's not my style, and I actually like your approach to what you guys do.
It's not. He was like, I'd let it go. No, because this is how you made your nut off of this thing. You got one person at the top, and it's all this goes down here, and it's at the bottom, and it's like a triangle. It's like I don't know, what are those things? They're in Egypt. Pyramids. It's like a pyramid or multi-levels. There's multi-levels to it, and these levels depend on the levels below. And by the way, Pseudosnark, thanks for the show and being approachable. Appreciate you. Yes, absolutely, not a problem. And oh my God, thanks by JC, always chiming in.
Two things I wanted to show up out of respect to you. So how many subscribers do you guys have? How many subscribers do you guys have? What's your number?
wait. But before we move on, and I'd love to address
Hear me
this,
out.
Before
Hear
we
me
move
out.
on, wait.
Kind of power. We know you have
This is my This was my point about you said you never said that it was easy, but then you said part time you can make 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
You're gonna allow me to answer your question for you?
Right. Sure.
How many subscribers do you guys have?
I have 300K on my main channel, and then 300K on my
17,000, 14,000.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
By the way, if you're in the audience, subscribe to the channel, send it to your friends.
Yeah. By the way, let me ask you a question. How hard is it to get to 300,000 subscribers?
Very hard.
Very hard. I agree. How hard is it to get to 100,000 subscribers?
Oh, it's easy. I've got 1,100.
Very hard.
You know, it took me 2 years, and I was still only at 2,000 subscribers. It's not an easy game. It's a very, very hard game.
Absolutely.
Right?
So then he bought some subscribers, and we're good.
But are there people that are making millions of dollars on YouTube if they take it seriously? Sure. Of course. Are there people that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars if they take it seriously? Of course. Are there people that are doing YouTube just to make $200 a month? Yes, a lot of people are. The way you use YouTube or PHP is up to you. We have people that want to use it to make millions, but quite frankly, we have a lot of people that do it to want to make $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month.
I think that's completely so respectfully.
So bullshit.
I think that is absurd. The reason people get involved is not with an entire company to go sell stuff. Is not you don't become a part-time salesman to make $500 a year.
And that's where we disagree. And that's where we disagree. And let me explain. It's okay for us to disagree, by the way. The part where I disagree is the following. Here's the point I was trying to make it with Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. At Morgan, I'm full-time. I'm forced to hit quotas. If I don't hit quotas, I'm fired. Because I have quotas, I'm not necessarily forced to do the best thing for clients all the time because it's based on quotas. I believe insurance, investments, this is a business to get into, even real estate, to get into part-time and work your way up. You may not like the business. You may hate this business. You may say, this isn't for me. No problem. But at least you gave it a shot, and if it works out for you, this could end up being a career for you, part-time or full-time.
Right, but what I'm saying, though, is you're representing part-time, again, as 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in the marketing, and then the reality is most of the people we would probably label part-time in your company are making $200 a month, and 90% are making less than McDonald's.
I wouldn't. Let me explain to you, those people that are making $200 per year or per month, whatever the number is, $200 per year. They're not part-time. They're not even sometime. Listen, there are people, you have to understand this. I'm trying to be reasonable with you. There are people that literally are a mother. They have a person in the soccer mom community. They send as a lead. Somebody else sells it. They get a split commission, $300. They're happy with that. There are people that don't want to sell. There are people that have no desire to sell. All they want to do is play the referral game with somebody else. And that is not considered part-time. That is not even considered sometime. These are people that may put 20 hours per year into this business. That's not a part-timer. That is a sometimer. There are people that, I know people that are realtors.
Okay, I think we've heard enough of that, Patrick McDavid. You be the judge there. Obviously a multi-level marketing, quite obvious to me on that. Scam, probably. So once again, pseudo snark, thanks for the $10. Appreciate that. Everyone else, join in there as well. Is 80 hours a week part-time? Because it's only part of 168. Yeah, 168 hours in a week. So, you know, that's, I mean, you're looking at, 80, that's half of the week. That's insane. That's a lot of hours. I don't know that I believe him, but maybe so. Maybe that's why I'm falling down short. I'm spending too much time doing like a show like this rather than, this is crazy, guys. We are going to be rich. Yeah. Death says, I did IT work for 2 pyramid scheme companies that eventually went bust in the GFC. Go fuck chickens? I don't know. One was selling water bottles that could cure cancer, and another was a real estate investing company. Okay, that's solid stuff there. Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to talk a little bit about, we're going to, let's transition this one over, take care of that, browser. There we go. I'm going to talk about this article on reason.com, Free Minds and Free Markets by... It's for Donald Trump coming in, and Nick Gillespie says, reminder, Donald Trump promised to free Ross Ulbricht on day one. Now, I've done a little bit of a breakdown. I voted for Trump, and there's multiple reasons, but the main reason was this right here. The great financial crash. Okay, thank you. Was this here, was the idea that you can get a Ross Ulbricht. And as a libertarian, it's like, what did it mean for me? It means that if he does free him, I could basically say I freed this guy. I saved this guy's life. And I know Reason is writing an article to hold the flame to the fire, to foot to the fire, to the flame, whatever, of Donald Trump in the hopes that he frees Ross Ulbricht. But when we read the breakdown of Reason Magazine and who they were voting for, they were not voting for Donald Trump. There were two people that might have, right? One was, well, I don't know if it's too chilly, but it was, what's her name, that does the, ask me, just asking questions chick, who's decent looking. She does it with Zach Weissenmuller. She's gone back and forth with Dave, but she has too many tattoos for me. She's a little bit of horror with that. However, I like her. She voted for Trump, right? And she's the only one. So who else did? Who else wanted to free? Because you're throwing your vote away, especially Nick. He's living out there in New York. You're going to vote for Kamala, or you're going to vote for what's his noodle, the gay guy, and that's going to be your vote. What did you get out of that? Well, maybe, I know you live in New York, so maybe your vote doesn't matter. However, now he's talking about holding Trump to his promises. Does it matter if he holds, if he says it or not when you didn't even vote for this? I think that puts you put some skin in the game. It gives you that reason to be able to complain a little bit more, right? So once again, I don't have a problem with people not voting for Trump or whatever, but if this is a big issue and he promised to do it, and then you didn't vote for him, I don't know that I care. Okay? So let's see what Nick says here. Lord knows it's probably not smart to hold politicians accountable to their campaign promises, but President-elect Donald Trump is no typical politician. And at least one of his campaign promises was both uniquely specific and uncontroversial enough to expect or demand really follow through. Okay, but once again, you didn't vote for him, so you didn't give a shit about this issue. This was not a big enough issue for you to vote for Donald Trump, to free Ross Ulbricht, to really then be able to put your enforcement. If you vote for me on day one, I will commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht. Maybe we should put that in a tweet. I'll just copy that and then put this thing and reply to Nick and say, yeah, it doesn't matter. You didn't vote for him. So really, what are you complaining about? Proclaim Trump. And by the way, I'm going to wait until day one. Chase. Yes. Liz Wolf. Thank you. Everyone's chiming in with the right numbers. Yes. Liz Wolf, Chase, and the cop. Yes. Okay. Exactly. So I'm actually oops, sorry. We're popping these off here. I'm actually going to wait. Click that. I'm actually going to wait until we find out the results of the election. I mean, so that we know the results. Now I'm going to get one of those election things at the bottom of my YouTube. I'm going to wait till the results of Ross Ulbricht, if he does get pardoned on day one by Trump. If he does, then I'm going to say something to Nick like, hey, motherfucker, you could have voted for this too, but you didn't. Last May, while addressing the Libertarian Convention, the request was on a list of 10 demands the Libertarian Party shared with Trump before he spoke. If Trump has failed to follow through on his other memorable promise in the convention, he said he would, quote, put a Libertarian in my cabinet. This one is still in play. It would right a small but potent wrong when it comes to the carceral state, the deep state and the drug war, and a host of related bastions of state overreach. By most accounts, a model prisoner. Okay, we can go into the Ross Ulbricht thing. I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be. Ulbricht was in federal custody for over a year before the trial started. Yeah, I mean, it's a travesty is what's happened here. I don't really want to recap that. Will Trump actually commute Ulbricht's sentence? The most recent pronouncement I could find is in Truth Social last October. It's an emphatic declaration by Trump. I will save Ross Ulbricht. Okay, that's huge. Now, I know people have tweeted this, and his son, what is it? Not Donald Jr. Maybe he chimed in on it. Trump's commitment to criminal justice reform is underappreciated part of his first-term legacy. He was major reason for First Step Act, which reduced federal prison time, got passed. Yet he didn't commute Ulbricht's sentence when he left office, and he has sent consistently mixed messages regarding criminal penalties for drug offenses. This is what I would say about, sometimes they're like, oh, it's a political landmine if I free this guy. But we're just on the heels of like so many commutations and, Hunter Biden, right? If you're talking about drug stuff. So I think the window is clear and the time is right for Trump to be doing this. Ulbricht's X account has been upbeat since the election. Immense gratitude to everyone who voted for Trump on my behalf. So Ross is basically saying to Nick Gillespie, go fuck yourself. You didn't do it. You didn't vote for me. I trust him to honor his pledge. This is maybe what you do. The day that he commutes a sentence or pardons him or what have you, You tweet up there, thanks everyone who voted for freeing Ross Ulbricht, and then you list all the people that Reason Magazine put out that didn't, and say, these are some people. I don't know. Let's workshop this one. I trust him to honor his pledge and give me a second chance. He posted in November, but is mum on his hopes come next week. The Free Ross site, which hosts a petition calling for his release and operates a Free Ross X account, exudes similar vibes while reposting calls for clemency and the likes of Matt Gaetz, Kelly Paul, wife of Senator Rand Paul, Kentucky. Among the many anticipated mega dramas that may happen on next week's day one, Trump has promised to start mass deportations. Okay, I mean, mass deportations and electric car mandates and settle Russia-Ukraine war, among other things. It may be easy to look past his promise to Ulbricht, but it's an easy one to keep and a good one. Okay, not good enough to vote for him though, Nick Gillespie, evidently. Okay. Now, what I want to go back here, we will talk about this one. We're gonna read some more. This one is TikTok. So, and I could take a look actually at the ruling. This is a ruling here. Here we go. This is the ruling by the Supreme Court. It's unanimous. It's per curiam, which is just, it's unsigned. It's just the court in general doing this. I mean, it's not a surprise to me. You have China. They don't have First Amendment rights. Okay, so people are like, what about the First Amendment rights? They don't have them. They're China. Now, the government, the U.S. government, and I think maybe I'll walk through the news one here. I'm not going to read this whole thing. The only one I would read would be Merrick Garland. I'm not Merrick Garland. Jesus Christ, Gorsuch. He did he concurred, but he wrote his own concurrence, and I think someone else did too. Let's see here. Merrick Garland is who they were suing here on behalf of them. Sotomayor wrote her own concurring part. And maybe let's just read Gorsuch. We've had a fortnight to resolve, finally and on merits, a major First Amendment dispute affecting more than 170 million Americans. Briefing finished on January 3. Argument took place on January 10. And in our opinions, issued on January 17. Given those conditions, now I would just break this down. Trump, when he was in office, he did a ban on TikTok, executive order. It got overturned because there was no law existing that he could then just do this for. So you don't just get to make up laws. Trump does this, that gets overturned. But then Congress comes in and they're like, whoa, we're going to do this ourselves because we are scared of China, Israel, for different reasons. And so too much pro-Palestine stuff coming here through on TikTok. Remember, there was a big news thing about Osama bin Laden's letter getting released, and people reading it and like, oh my God, he hit the towers because they hate us, our freedoms? No, because they were killing them over there. So anyway, that was a big deal. You couldn't have that go. So, here we are. Now, keep going. Given those conditions, I can sketch out only a few and admittedly tentative observations. First, the court rightly refrains from endorsing the government's asserted interest in preventing, quote, the covert manipulation of content, unquote, as a justification for law before us. Brief for Respondent 37. One man's covert content manipulation is another's editorial discretion. Journalists, publishers, and speakers of all kinds routinely make less than transparent judgments about what stories to tell and how to tell them. Without question, the First Amendment has much to say about the right to make these choices. It makes no difference that Americans like TikTok Inc. and many of its users may wish to make decisions about, they say, in concert with a foreign adversary. So let me just back this up. TikTok is I think a California company, or it's owned in California, but the algorithm ByteDance is owned solely by China, all control through them. They are the foreign adversary, and there you go. Now, the law that Congress passed makes it so, I told you Trump earlier could not, by executive order, do this. However, the law now says, and this law was only about ByteDance and TikTok, but they are specified as a foreign adversary, and the president could come in there and deem someone else to be a foreign adversary, the president himself. So they've given a lot of power away. Shocker. Shocker. Foreign adversary. Those who won our independence knew the vital importance of the freedom to think as you will and to speak as you think, as well as the dangers that come from repressing the free flow of ideas. That's from Whitney v. California in 1927. They knew, too, that except in the most extreme situations, the fitting remedy for evil counsels is good ones. Too often in recent years, the government has sought to censor disfavored speech online, as if the internet was somehow exempt from the full sweep of the First Amendment. Murphy v. Missouri, 2024. But even as times and technologies change, the principle of the right to free speech is always the same. Abrams v. United States, 1919. Oliver Wendell Holmes dissenting. By the way, I think the Abrams case, so fire in a crowded theater was Schenck. And then Abrams came along and they had quoted him where he says, oh, you can't, fire in a crowded theater. And then the court decided to take him up on his quotes and stuff. And they were instituting that kind of same think going forward. And I believe Abrams is one where Holmes is like, wait a second, that's not what I meant. How dare you slippery slope my comments? So I think Abrams is one of those follow-on cases from the Schenck case, which was fire in a crowded theater, which got overturned by Brandenburg v. Ohio in 1969. Second, I am pleased that the court declines to consider the classified evidence the government has submitted to us, but shielded from petitioners and their counsel. Efforts to inject secret evidence into judicial proceedings presents obvious constitutional concerns. Usually, the evidence used to prove the government's case must be disclosed to the individual so that he has an opportunity to show that it is untrue. Green v. McElroy. Maybe there is a way to handle classified evidence that would afford a similar opportunity in cases like these. Maybe, too, Congress or even Standing Committee of Rules, Practice, and Procedure would profit from considering the question. But as the court recognizes, we have no business considering the government's secret evidence here. Third, I harbor serious reservations about whether the law before us is content neutral. Yeah, I don't think it is content neutral, and thus escapes the strict scrutiny. So strict scrutiny is almost impossible to get past. We've talked about that before. Rational basis, medium scrutiny, and strict scrutiny for determining. And the court really, the court really has to find that the government has an I don't remember what the actual termination is that they determine for what strict scrutiny is. But it's very difficult for a law to pass that's under strict scrutiny, which would be like interracial marriage, as an example. Okay, more than that, while I do doubt that various tiers of scrutiny discussed in our case law, rational basis, strict scrutiny, some things in between, can help focus our analysis. I worry that litigation over them can sometimes take on a life of its own and do more to obscure than clarify the ultimate constitutional questions. Fourth, whatever the appropriate tier of scrutiny, I am persuaded that the law before us seeks to serve a compelling interest. Yeah, so that's part of the analysis there is a compelling state interest, preventing a foreign country designated by Congress and President as an adversary of our nation from harvesting vast troves of personal information about tens of millions of Americans. The record before us establishes that TikTok mines data both from TikTok users and about millions of others who do not consent to share their information. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigations, TikTok can access any data stored in the consenting user's contact list, including names, photos, and other personal information about unconsenting third parties. And because the record shows that the People's Republic of China, PRC, can require TikTok's parent company to cooperate with its efforts to obtain personal data, there is little to stop all that information from ending up in the hands of a designated foreign adversary. The PRC may use that information to build dossiers for blackmail, conduct corporate espionage, or advance intelligence operations. To be sure, assessing exactly what a foreign adversary may do in the future implicates delicate and complex judgments from foreign affairs and requires large amounts of prophecy. For the record, the government has amassed in these cases, after years of study supplies compelling reasons for concern. Finally, the law before us also appears appropriately tailored to the problem it seeks to address. Without doubt, the remedy Congress and the president chose here is dramatic. The law may require TikTok parent company to divest or effectively shutter its U.S. operations, but it's seeking to impose that remedy. The coordinate branches spent years in negotiations with TikTok, exploring alternatives, and ultimately found them wanting. And for what I can glean from the record, the judgment was well-founded. Consider some of the alternatives. Start with our usual and preferred remedy under the First Amendment, more speech. However helpful that might be, the record shows that warnings users of risks associated with giving their data to a foreign adversary-controlled application would do nothing to protect non-users. Forbidding TikTok domestic operations from sending sensitive data abroad might seem another option. But even if Congress were to impose serious criminal penalties on domestic TikTok employees who violated a data sharing ban, the record suggests that would do little to deter the PRC from exploiting TikTok to steal Americans' data. Noting threats from malicious code, backdoor, there we go. We need something for that. Let's do this. And noting threats from malicious code, backdoor vulnerabilities. There we go. It's air horn. Serendipitous surveillance and other problematic activities tied to the source code development in the PRC. Agents of the PRC would not fear monetary or criminal penalties in the United States. The record also indicates that the size and complexity of TikTok's underlying software may make it impossible for law enforcement to detect violations. Even setting all these challenges aside, any new compliance regime could raise separate constitutional concerns. For instance, by requiring the government to surveil Americans' data to ensure that it isn't illicitly flowing overseas, suggesting effective enforcement of the data export ban might involve direct U.S. government monitoring of the flow of U.S. user data. Whether this law will succeed in achieving its end, I do not know. A determined foreign adversary may just seek to replace one law surveillance application with another. Drones. As time passes and threats evolve, less dramatic and more effective solutions may emerge. Even what might happen next to TikTok remains unclear. But the question we face today is not the law's wisdom, only its constitutionality. Given just a handful of days after the oral argument to issue an opinion, I cannot profess the kind of certainty I would like to have about the arguments in the record before us. All I can say is that at this time and under these constraints, the problem appears real and the response to it is unconstitutional. Is not unconstitutional, sorry. As persuaded as I am of the wisdom of Justice Brandeis in Whitney and Justice Holmes in Abrams, their cases are not ours. See Superette 2. Speaking with and in favor of foreign adversary is one thing. Allowing foreign adversary to spy on Americans is another. Okay. Shut up, nerd. Let's hit the chat and then maybe we'll head out here. Trump didn't mention the cabinet was a lazy Susan. Oh, jeez, that's harsh. Shout out Rouse. I bought stuff off Silk Road. Oh, Ross. Okay. I bought stuff off Silk Road. RIP my potential Bitcoin profits. Okay. I still know, JC says, I still know so many brain dead morons who still think Ross hired a hitman. Yeah, that's no chance I catch up. No, you're not going to catch up. But when you do catch up, because you'll catch up, how you doing? Remember that Nikki Haley said that every minute I watch on TikTok, it makes me 13% more anti-Semitic. Shut up, nerd. Yeah, so what did I miss here? He did qualify with that with if you vote for me. Yes, he did. He did say if you vote for me. You already have the results prompt on his team, on this stream. I don't know what's going on here. So that's the Supreme Court. I have one more clip about the TikTok thing, and then I think I will talk about that, and then we'll be done here. So let's see. I had an outro. Let's go with this.
They expect the United States, and by they I mean the rest of the world, and I was raised in Canada because this happens, right? They expect the United States to foot the bill for everybody else. Ukraine, hey, How about you all step in, NATO? How about your neighbors do it? How about, hey, Europe, how about you do it? And why do we need to spend $100-something billion or commit $100-something billion before people want to admonish me? I get we've committed, but we haven't spent all of it. Okay, hold your comments. They want us to foot the bill there for the security of the world. And they want to blame the United States for standards that we apply, which they apply far more stringently themselves. To give you an example, TikTok is not, it's not banned in the States yet. You know where it is banned? China.
China.
I
had no idea.
It's not allowed in China for different reasons, because all the trans, infiltration that happens there, where people want you to text them on TikTok, slide into their DMs so your parents don't know and they can encourage you to transition. They believe that'll poison the minds of the youth in China, or as they call them, youth. So they don't allow it in China, but now they want to lobby the United States to allow it, because they know the irreparable damage that it can do to young people. And by the way, yep, I am more of a libertarian, but one of the few legitimate roles of government, to be clear, and this is something that you can use when people say, oh, so you're a conservative? What about roads? What about the military? The role of the government, certainly. The one legitimate role is to protect its citizens, both from exterior and interior threats. And I would say Chinese propaganda and some content that they won't even allow in their country because they've seen the studies, they know the irreparable damage. Yeah, I would say that that's legitimate. That falls under the legitimate purview of government to prevent and eliminate that threat. By eliminate, I mean the app, not show chew.
I don't know. That was a clip I just happened to find today from Steven Crowder. I think it was a year or so ago. There's not much he says that I'm going to believe him on, though. So he could be saying the facts. He could be saying the truth. I just think a lot of this TikTok, it's a paper tiger. I don't think China is the problem we think it is. Did my YouTube, am I still out there streaming? I think we're still going. But anyway, I could be wrong with this. Let's see here what happened with the chat. There we go. Now it's back. So anyway, do Israel though. That's exactly right. So there's problems here. Okay, did we hit everything? Fire updates. Look, maybe I'll play a few clips here. I think we have to play some clips going out here. I don't want that though. Let's see if we can do it with this one. Okay, so I think we'll play some clips. This is this Chickahoe here. Speaking of Nikki Haley, maybe we'll play this one. Let's go. How will they become radicalized? Okay. These are just a bunch of bookmarks I had. There was Schumer. Let's see someone else. These are interesting. That's too long. Oh, here we go. Let's play Bill fucking Burr and his brain dead shit he's got going on here. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It says muted. No audio? Can you guys not hear that? Hang on. You're right. Okay, now we're good. Here we go.
And I think everybody did a great job. The winds moved, but the fire was coming and all that stuff. So I feel lucky.
Are you guys back in?
And I think everybody did a great job.
Yeah.
Unlike the internet,
Yeah, right. I know. It's right.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Bill Burr is not a happy-go-lucky, sending praise to anybody kind of comic, right? He's kind of a shit on you kind of comic, and he's going to shit on the common folk out here with his own logic, and it's only because his blind spot is so bad. We know he's a liberal. And he comes out and he says some fancy stuff sometimes where everybody's like, great, but
All of these fire experts. Why didn't you just fly a helicopter into the ocean and then just, I don't know, because there was 100-knot winds? You want to do that? You want to do that at night, you lunatic?
Now, he does fly his own helicopter, okay? So he's got some things to say. But there are people out there, they are doing some of those things. And I don't know that we're not still muted, right? You guys are all fine. Give me a thumbs up here. So Is that a fine example? I think he tries here too hard. Let's just keep going. Should stop interrupting.
How are you?
This was definitely mismanaged.
That's a big word we're hearing now.
Mismanaged, like some idiot on the internet knows how to manage the worst fire in LA, sitting there in his underwear.
Okay, this dumb fuck though, this is where he's completely wrong. The mismanagement comes before the fire happens. And that's what everyone's talking about. You're not out there saying, oh, you know what? My niece is marrying in March or April, a firefighter who's out there doing this. He doesn't know how to hold the hose. They're totally mismanaging with it. No, that's not what they're talking about. The state is a tinderbox, and we know this, and they're not doing. I just saw an interview this morning. It's a hotshot movie, a guy that did this, and it couldn't get put out anywhere, but it's on Amazon now. Maybe we should do a private thing where we just watch it for the private show. And he talks about prescribed burns, California versus Florida, the millions of acres, the differences there. California is not doing it. That's mismanagement. Okay. Not having the Palisades water reservoir full. That's mismanagement. Having all this DEI crap instead of firing firefighters for COVID, that's mismanagement. We've got multiple kinds that were prior. The management isn't necessarily how you react in an emergency. It's also how you prepare so you're ready for those emergencies. And that's what we expect out of a bunch of these public officials. The Bill Burr doesn't. Now, he managed. He'll talk about it here, what he did.
You know what? Looking at the footage on the internet, I have determined that this here was mismanaged.
You know about helicopters because I remember, and it's interesting now thinking about it because you said that.
About it. I know about the one that I fly. Other than that, I don't know anything about it.
You know
but
something.
If you're on the internet, you know everything.
I hope you know about it because you said that you got your pilot's license in case like all hell broke loose in L.A., you could get out of L.A. and at any moment, did you think, I'm going to make a run for that helicopter?
Well, the error in my thought was I didn't realize how expensive helicopters were. So all I have is a two-seater, and I didn't want to have to make Sophie's choice with my family.
So he mismanaged it. He fucking mismanagement. And yeah, I'm here on the internet going, he mismanagement. Yeah, because you got a two-seater and your family's not two, it's multiples. So how are you going to fucking get out of there? So it just sounds like a vanity purchase.
So, we all piled into the SUV like everybody else. But no, man, these guys were out there clearing the trees, getting the wires back up and everything. It was like the perfect awful thing that could have happened, and it did. And I love how all the chatter out there is about bands of illegal immigrants and homeless people lighting fires. They light fires every day. They're living outside. They're cold. And this theory that some homeless guy without a car went from Altadena all the way to the Pacific Palisades, and then we have a hang glider.
Notice how the laughter is a little, because people that live down there, they're like, no, these fucking homeless are burning the shit out of this place. That could be how it started. Bill Burr has no clue how this fire started, right? But he's confident it's not a homeless guy from one city to another. By the way, if you don't think that these homeless are in the big, nice cities, go fuck yourself. They are. They're everywhere. They are like a scourge. No, it's totally true. And what, they don't have the public transportation. They don't steal cars. They don't have cars. They have phones. Somehow they get around. I don't know.
And they
homeless doesn't mean carless.
They're talking about looting, but CNN and Fox News are not going to bring up the insurance companies that are just going to keep everybody's premiums and still give themselves a bonus. Yeah. Yes. Free Luigi. I love how they acted surprised. Why did that happen? I have no idea. He wrote on the bullets why it happened.
Oh, we're back to Luigi. Okay, yeah.
I never left Luigi. The wind.
Okay, this is a guy, though, that probably yelled at you for not getting vaccinated, getting a vaccine that was pushed by insurance companies and pharmaceuticals, but now he's now he's all good. I think we're done. I think we're out of here, so I think that's all I had to go today. I think I will try to do a show for, what do you call it? The inauguration. Maybe we'll try to do that. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody else? Wow, so profound, JC. Yes, JC says, if you're failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. There you go. I'm with Bill. I am with Bill. I blame the fire victims. Yeah, well, you were just in the wrong place, people. We know that. Thank you, everybody. Tyler, LPR. Find us on all the platforms. Send me any of your stuff you want to see. Friday, we'll try to keep doing this on Fridays. I'm going to the Moose Lodge tonight. I'll tell you how that works out. Next week, inauguration, and we'll try to be this back here on Friday. Otherwise, Tower Gang, I got a new drop. I got a new drop for Toad. So we're going to be back there. That was back when insurance companies were good. Totally different situation. Yeah, you're right. Totally different situation. We're still doing our same outro, people. Love y'all. See you. Bye.
Things are going to start happening to me now.
I think Tyler is amazing.
And I'm a fan of this show. I've watched several episodes.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You stink, Tyler.
Never promise crazy a baby.
Oh, I like that. That's a cool idea.
Are either of you homosexuals?
I go both ways. What do you think?
You mean like flaming or?
No, we're not homosexual, but we are willing to learn.
But I do wonder, for others, in other cases, whether libertarianism today is just an excuse for many on the right to act selfishly.
Look at me. And then some fat asses in Washington started having opinions. The Olympic Committee started having opinions. You bitch, I know you. You started writing your opinions.
And it just makes me wonder, you're dead, bitch. You know, why are you doing this to this poor guy?
I don't care. I'm a libertarian. What I'm getting is,
Did you vote for Joe Jorgensen or Trump?
Who?
Joe Jorgensen. That was the perfect answer. Thank you.